We're back. Another show, another Indy Reporter show happening on Wednesday. Boy, a lot has happened in the last 24 hours. Let me tell you what, folks, we are in for a treat right now. But first things first, I am your current host of the Indy Reporter show, the voice, the face, for the foreseeable future. And listen, I understand that Monday was a little bit rough, but now we got things working. Now we're just going to stay on YouTube. For those who don't know what's going on, 20-minute rundown of what is going on with Indiana, with the news, and the things that matter the most. So first things first, Kyle Walker announced that he will not run for re-election next year. And if you remember, he was against redistricting. He was also threatened with swatting. Very interesting timing, seeing as how the Senate was supposed to be meeting up next Monday to talk about redistricting and probably a few bills as well. So what happened after that was that Carlin Yoder's sister, Juanita Albright, she announced that she will be running for state senate. And from what I was told, it will be to replace Kyle Walker. From what very little research that I've done so far, she either won school board, she ran for Hamilton County School Board, not sure if she won. And she, from what I have been told too, she is far more conservative than Carlin Yoder. Like I said, though, I don't know much about her. However, just a few minutes ago, Nikki Kelly, she says Walker has resigned from his position as executive vice president of MO Strategies. Now, MO Strategies is run by Marty Obst, who is very pro redistricting. However, his executive vice president, Kyle Walker, is against redistricting. So now we're kind of led into two things, because at the beginning, it sounded like he was just going to focus on MO Strategies and his personal life. But now he's not working for MO Strategies anymore. So what does that mean? We don't know, obviously. But we're leaning towards two things. Either he is cashing his chips in and just bailing out, or maybe he's running for Congress. Of course, we don't know exactly which one they are, but we're going to keep it going anyway. Voice in the wilderness. That is right. Welcome, everybody, to the chat. It's going to be a very fun show. All right, so let's talk about what happened. Oh, yeah, so also, shout out Based Lafayette. I forgot his actual username, but it was from his Substack, and he had an actual map of the redistricting, and it's very interesting because it shows where everything is at. It gives a close-up view, because when I saw Marion counties were split up into 4 sections, if you guys were watching my show last night, I was like, probably not that bad of an idea, honestly, because not all of Marion County is the same way. Wayne Township isn't like Franklin Township. Center Township isn't like Decatur Township. Pike Township isn't like Warren Township. All of the above. So maybe, the more I think about it, the more I'm wondering, maybe 4 sections isn't that bad of an idea after all. I was wondering where the main split was at. And according to this map, 38th Street, which would make sense, honestly, because that is the top limit, for Wayne Township. And then, but I tell you what, the more I was looking at it, I would be in District 9. I would be in the new 9. And I'm just looking at how far down it goes. Wait a minute. What are we doing here? Wait a minute. No. This is a terrible idea, actually. I mean, it is a goofy segment right here. You got it starting from 38th Street of West Side Indy all the way down to the bottom of the state. Now, I understand some of these, it kind of is what it is, but man, maybe I should just run for Congress then. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe. Anyway. But also, so let's talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday, the House yesterday we had the Elections Committee, and at the beginning, a lot of the legislators were talking, mostly the Democrats. But then Ben Schmaltz made this announcement about his family being threatened to be killed.
I'll tell you, Representative Pierce, that political pressure is part of politics, and I will counter what you're claiming with yesterday, because I support this. I was threatened to have my family killed in front of me, whereafter I would be killed. That isn't going to change my mind. It's political pressure, and it's part of what we've run for these. We know that is going to happen. It is not an unusual part of the process. You've been here a long time.
So basically he's saying, hey, guess what? If you're running for office or you are in office, good chance you're going to be getting threatened a lot, no matter how stupid the things are. And some of the people that I have talked to have, I mean, even we as Indy Reporter have gotten threats ourselves. One guy we found out that lives over in Boone County, he told us to go kill ourselves, and he said, I'll meet you with an AR-15. Yeah, so what? Like, that stuff kind of happens all the time. I mean, I understand, like, it's all fun and games until something happens, but being a legislator, being in a position of power, those kind of threats are going to happen. Now, obviously, I do not condone any of those threats. Anything that has happened with pipe bombs, swatting, or any kind of threat, absolutely not condoning. Disavow. However, part of the job. And of course, you know, the legislators of the Democrat side had to give their own interpretation of the redistricting bill. By far, my favorite was Robin Shackelford.
This is more than political performance. This is a clear, strategic, manipulated, Hitler-type plan of control.
Redistricting is a Hitler-type plan of control. This is what was really funny. Now, Tim Wesco is the chair of the Elections Committee, and for almost an hour, we all had to listen to Democrats ask questions to Ben Smaltz about the redistricting bill. And it was about the same 5 questions, give or take. Splitting up the district is racist. What about the brown and black people? What about, do the people actually need this? It's like, how we should be focused on healthcare and utility rates and other things like that, not redistricting. I mean, it was all the usual Democrat talking points that we normally hear. Nothing that special. What I did want to talk about, though, are the people that spoke during public committee. Now, listen, I don't want to make fun of the guy. However, if your eye patch is a skull and crossbones, you are opening up yourself for not only criticism, but also jokes. Can you imagine? It's like, yar, I am not here for redistricting. I do not like this. Moving on. All right. There were a couple of people that were also running for office that decided to speak up against redistricting, and this was probably my favorite one. We're going to talk about a couple other people, too.
My name is Alex Hardy. I'm a veteran, twice deployed to the Iraq War, and I'm running for Congress for the 6th District to make Jefferson Shreve leave. But I don't come here as somebody running for office. I come here as a citizen. These maps are racist.
All right, first things first. He like double holds the microphone almost the entire time, and he starts it off with, they're racist. And he goes on, somebody had a really good post about this thing, like what it was. It was basically like, all right, it's racist. Okay, Trump is a pedophile. Okay, Trump is a racist. And okay, Trump will rape your children. And then at the very end of it, he says Ben Smaltz, right, coming into the corner. And then what does he do?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Then he clucks like a chicken at Ben Smaltz, and then Wesco like knocks on with the gavel. Hey, we got to calm down here. All right. And then he just mean mugging him the whole time. Then we have this guy right here. He is going to be running in District 38. I already checked out his website.
Better than a government that bends to the anger of one man while ignoring millions. And with that being said,
now it sounds like he's about to cry. Listen very carefully. I have the volume all the way up.
I thank you for listening, and all these reasons are why I'm running for House District 38 in 2026. You're going to get some competition.
Now, I'm sorry, Nate. Nate Stout, running for District 38, saying that they're going to get some competition. He's going to be running against Keith Van Natter. Keith Van Natter has one of the most red districts in Indiana. Last year, he ran and won 75-25. Like, That's not good. That's not going to work. All right. It's basically being in like Johnson County or like deep Hamilton. I would say like the outside counties. How about Wells County? There we go. We'll go with Wells County. And everybody was obviously mogging him in the comments. It's like, this guy's actually wanting to cry right here on stage. What are we doing here? All right, moving on. This is where the SNL portion of the skit.
He was told, you ain't got the votes. I want the votes. Find me the votes.
The very first year of covering the State House and checking everything out was this year. And I couldn't believe of all the comments that is happening. All these like, all right, are these people for real? Did they like charter in some interesting people? I'm not sure. But at the very end, Timothy Wesco basically pointed out that the reason they were originally not going to take up this bill, but he said it was because of Obama and J.B. Pritzker. And this is basically what was going on with the questions and the people during the public comment. Should we do it? What about the demographics? How does splitting up Marion County help constituents? What about my race vote? What about giving more government handouts for childcare? We should be focused on utility rates. We should be focused on pre-K, etc., etc. And then, so they got done with the election committee. It passed 8-5, I think. The only Republican that voted no against it was Tim Yoakum. So then the House convened, and then they went right into recess because apparently there were some rules broken that had to be clarified. Now, originally, Blake Johnson talked about this, but then Zimmerman, he showed up and said, actually, we're fine. And then the ruling of the chair was sustained, and as usual, the only Republican that voted with Democrats was Ed Clear, number 3 in the trust chart of Do Not Trust. Now, after this, I noticed that a lot of these right-wing accounts were pointing out they weren't wrong about what they were saying, but they were kind of twisting it of like, hey, we got this thing going. And fortunately, Kyle Pierce, he had pointed out Thursday, the bill will be on the House floor for amendments. Friday will be the final vote in the House, and then Monday it will be at the Senate. So that's what we know. That's what the schedule is right now. And then yesterday or on Monday, there were some bills coming out, and I just want to run through a couple of them. Actually, like 20 of them, but I got like 7 minutes left, so I'm not going to go too crazy. Matt Pierce, very persistent, very consistent. Every year since 2018, he has put a bill out. I call it the Kevorkian bill. They call it the end-of-life options. Danny Lopez, part of the Holcomb and Pence regime, he puts out a bill that says, hey, whoever the governor wins the primary, they get to choose who the lieutenant governor will be. They will not be decided at convention anymore. That's what that bill is. I call it the Beckwith bill. And then J.D. Prescott, he puts out another various immigration matters. Basically the same one that he put out last year. I did a little ChatGPT on it. Put it me, ChatGPT, draw me like you're French women. Put it in kids' simple terms. What does the bill say? If I ask for Indiana to hold someone, Indiana must do it. Cities and counties cannot ignore or block immigration enforcement. Employers cannot hire undocumented workers. The AG can punish agencies or employers who don't follow these rules. Courts and officials must clearly document immigration and detainer information. And then Mitch Gore, he was right. I mean, truth to truth, he said that he was going to do it, so he did. He had a bill for the National Guard cannot perform any law enforcement duty that may result in surveillance, apprehension, detention, or arrest on individual. He also put a firearm storage saying that would make a person's resident vehicle commits neglect of a dependent a level 6 felony. Listen, Gore, we both live in Marion County. We both know Ryan Mears isn't going to do anything. Knock it off. Salem Bureau of Motor Vehicle Information. This bill would say if you are less than 21 or older than 65, or you opt out of the sale of the individual person information. I'm very curious of what happens with that bill. Then the battery against vulnerable workers. I think this mostly has to deal with DCS though. Student cellular telephone use. Everybody was saying there was already a ban on cell phones. This actually makes it a ban from what I am told, because before they were just sort of enforcing it. This kind of makes them more enforce it. But at the end of the day, the school still has to enforce it. Just like Marion County, rules are rules, laws are laws, but if we have a garbage prosecutor and courts, they can only be enforced so far. And of course, the king of the trust chart, Andrew Ireland, he put out a bill that says a constitutional amendment to let Indiana impeach rogue judges and prosecutors who refuse to hold violent criminals accountable. Common Ireland W. And this one will be interesting about data center water regulation. J.D. Ford had a bill about data centers, and I think it was mostly about dragging it on and holding them up a little bit. This will be interesting. Anything data center related, I'm always going to be eyes on the ball. And then we have a crypto bill with Jake Teshka, Kyle Pierce, Judy, and Keith Vanvatter. I mean, listen, this is, if you guys remember all the meme coins that were going on, basically what's going to happen is you're going to have the Dan Elliott who's going to bankrupt the state because they put all our cash into Fartcoin. And then somebody rug pulled them. Great job on the crypto, on some made-up currency. Restricted access. This one might be a little bit base, but however, I wish there was a little bit harsher. At the same time, enforcement. Provides that offensive and unlawful entry by a serious sex offender includes a serious sex offender not only or intentionally entering a public park. Sorry, diddlers, you cannot enter the park. And then I did not know about this one. I don't know if this is going to go anywhere. It restores the property tax deduction available to a surviving spouse of a World War I veteran that was limited to property tax imposed. Apparently, they took it out for SB1, where like you couldn't get a property tax available, a property tax deduction if you are the spouse of a World War I veteran. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But then all the Senate bills started coming out, which was pretty awesome, including Andy Zay. He put it in saying, designate the breaded tenderloin sandwich as the official state sandwich of Indiana. Day, promises made, promises kept, as one would say. And then Fady Kodora, he put out his anti-redistricting bill, mask at public assemblies. That would be a Class A misdemeanor for a second or subsequent offense. Very interesting where that go. Unlawful possession of a firearm by a child. Listen, this is Marion County. Nothing's going to happen with that. Firing squad, based Mike Young, right here, right now, authorizes the death penalty to be carried out by a firing squad if an execution by lethal injection cannot be carried out due to the unavailability of a required drug. Upon request by the condemned person, establishes a procedure for executing by firing squad. I cannot wait to see what happens with this. I hope we all have to shill for this online to get this into committee. We at least need a hearing. That's all we need. We get a hearing, we'll get it going. And then dissolution of human remains from Brett Clark. There was a bill last year from Mark Genda, or last session with Mark Genda, that had Brett Clark as the sponsor. I imagine Genda will push for this again. Now, there were two bills that I thought, well, this is probably going to be lobbyist bills. One of them was the line maintenance in public right-of-ways. No legislator thinks of this kind of stuff. I imagine some lobbyists came up with it. And also Brett Clark with alcoholic beverage permits for county fairs. I will be paying close attention to the campaign reports. Now, what is next? Tomorrow, we have 3 committees happening with no public hearing. However, financial institution about crypto, public policy with Riverboat gaming license. Also, our favorite, Ed Soliday, utilities, energy, and telecommunications, informational hearing on performance-based rate making. Of course, all of them are at the same time. I will be focusing on this one most likely. This one will probably be a long time. This will probably last a long time. All right. That was a 20-minute rundown, right? Not too bad. This is what's going to be happening for the next week and 1 day. The next Indy Reporter show will be on Friday at 8 o'clock. Then next week will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And same thing as before. We're just going to be talking about what's happening at the State House right now and any kind of news to fill up the time. But as you can see, 20 minutes went by real quick. You guys have a great night.